Well, speaking of, $100,000 and high-end matchmakers, way back in the day, we had Patti Stanger,
Yeah.
the millionaire matchmaker. Did any of you, were any of you familiar with her? Did any of you reach out to her for advice, having been on Bravo?
She was actually one of my professors when I went through the Matchmaking Institute. She actually trained one of my courses. So I love Patti Stanger. I have seen every episode of Millionaire Matchmaker. In fact, that's why I named my business Middle Class Matchmaker. I really wanted to do it a whole, to a different level, but I love her. I love her a lot.
I don't like her. I've heard her a couple times on Clubhouse, and she's pretentious as hell. She's not too bright to me either. So I don't know. I just, I go off of what people give me.
Yes, I do know.
He said she's not too bright.
Ming, do you have any thoughts?
I mean, the way she was telling people to date was like, are people literally listening to this? Had like 900 people in the room, and they're listening to this woman giving them the worst dating advice I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, but when you're paying $1 million, I mean, I really think it's on another level.
Hey, this was Clubhouse. Like, these are people in Clubhouse she was giving this advice to. This wasn't her clients. These were people in Clubhouse.
I can only remember looking at an episode where they were actually going to match her. Did you guys see that one? I think her team, and
she was in a relationship when I saw it.
No, they picked 3 guys for her, and she picked the worst one for herself. That told me a lot, okay? I was like, why would you pick him? He is so not interested in you. It was the craziest thing. So I was like, I don't think I would want her to match me. From that. Yeah.
So, honestly, David, when matchmaking was born, it was born, it has roots, obviously, in different cultures. People, there was always a grandma that was matching people. But when the matchmaking industry was born, it was for the elite. It was for who could afford it, right? That's traditionally what matchmaking is about. And so, honestly, and it still is. That is the industry. It's for who can afford it. So I get it, and I'm all for it. But I wanted to do something different because I thought that love should be for everybody, and it shouldn't just be for, who could afford it. Everybody deserves love.
Do you guys have certain, like, I know we made a lot of references earlier to like Beyonce and Jay-Z and Denzel, like when people come in, I mean, who are the people that are most, like if I came in, I'm right between the 2 ages, I would tell you, I'm open to a Jaden Smith or a Will Smith. That's just me personally. That's what who do you guys get celebrity wise? Is there certain people you get more than others?
As far as matching them up?
Well, like, okay, I want someone that, like, what's your type? Oh, my type's Beyonce, my type's.
Right. So David, that's one of my questions. I'll say, who was your childhood crush as a celebrity? Yeah. Because it gives about who you're attracted to, right? Not saying that we're going to find you that person, but it gives an idea of who you may be attracted to.
Yeah. And
so who do you get? Like is there, do you hear Denzel more than any, is it like, do you hear certain celebrities all the time? Like more than others?
I personally don't. I hear some celebrities I didn't even heard of. I actually have to Google them.
Mine range because my clients are so different. They're from different places, different countries. They're so different that it ranges for me. Yeah.
I get a lot of people who want, Barack and Michelle Obama. Women who want their Barack and women who want their Michelle. Opposite, men who want their Michelle and women who want their Barack. I get that a lot. And, honestly, like I always say, are you going to be willing to do what Michelle did? Michelle left her high-powering job to go into the White House with Barack. A lot of women who are very successful are not willing to do that. So it's like, are you willing to do what these people did to have the relationships they had? I don't know. Most people aren't.
That makes a lot of sense. Last 2 or 3 questions, I promise. How do you guys handle like social media and like Google, like you introduce people and now it's not, you can go and Google someone, whether they're in the public eye or not, and you were interested in someone. And by the second date, you're like, well, let me tell you what I just found out through the Google search. Does that happen a lot? And how do you handle that?
Well, I would Google people before, like I'm gonna Google them before I introduce you to them. So I would already have done that. Plus, I'm doing a background check because I feel like when people pay you, they're paying you they want this service. They want you to give them someone, that they couldn't find on their own, right? So with that in mind, I'm going to do my due diligence before introducing you. At the same time, could somebody slide through the crack? Absolutely. And then if that happened and they go, hey, you know, I researched this person and he turned out he's, you know, a criminal or whatever, then I'll just give you another person.
That makes a lot of sense. And what about, you know, we talked about things people do wrong. Where does, because I mean, I just, you know, amongst groups of people I know, where does like fooling around too early in the dating process and or getting completely drunk on a date? I mean, those are not necessarily the same thing. Sometimes they go very hand in hand, but what is your advice and what do you think about that? Either fooling around too early in the meeting process and or getting totally drunk on a date?
Yeah, I personally tell all clients, singles period, you know, no more than one drink. I've actually been a victim myself of doing it. Like, had 2 or 3 drinks and like, oh, you know, what happened, right?
They took advantage of you? Is that what you're saying?
We're gonna go with that, Ming. We're gonna go with that one. But yeah, at the most, one drink at the most, if you can help yourself, right? Because you don't want to, you know, sometimes when you get inebriated, of course, you know, you get more loose. Just put it that way. So.
Yeah, I don't believe in these kinds of rules. Like, you know, I think if you're being your authentic self, whatever that is what somebody needs to evaluate. So if you're a drinker, they need to see that up front and know this is not what they want to sign up for. Like, don't try to hide it. This is like, show up authentic. Now, I do ask if you're an alcoholic beforehand, so I would have already assessed that. But if you're not and you're just a social drinker, you know, drink, have fun. If y'all want to have sex on the first date, go for it. We're adults. Like, I'm not in the business of policing people or giving them rules. I think it's archaic. That's just my personal opinion.
Well, I must be archaic.
I'm
like, listen, I try to tell my clients, you know, you can do whatever you want to do with what you have to work with. But I try to tell them, wait until you get married. Or wait until you have a ring.
I'm not that archaic, but go ahead.
No, that's archaic.
I do. I do. And it's not gonna happen for everybody, but that is what I will say.
Right.
You know what I mean? To me, sex is something you have to evaluate. You don't want to lock yourself into somebody and then find out he can't perform. He's 2 inches long. He has a micro peen. I'm not gonna sign up for that.
You find yourself giving yourself to people on every new person that you meet, and nothing happens. So it can go both ways.
So
I'm not signing myself up and I don't know what you're working with. That's not gonna happen.
Both of them as a woman, right? And I'm a man as a woman. I tell all women, do not give it up on the first date, because the first thing in that man's mind is she's a jump off, right? And he's gonna have to convince himself that she's not. But that's a whole nother process, right? To Shae's point, I get it. You don't want to be settled down with somebody for 6 months. They have terrible sex. You find out 6 months later. But to me, I'm not waiting to marry to find out it's terrible sex. So no, I'm in between both of them.
You know what? No, we're saying the same thing, Joseph, because I don't say do it on the first date either. But it could be generational, Ming. Maybe we're in a generation that is different than your.
No, there's nothing wrong.
It's not that big of a generation gap. No, we're not that big of a generation, honey.
Here we go.
Here we go. It all starts now.
Here we go.
Let's go. Let's go, Shae. Let's go.
Yes.
Hilarious.
Yes, and yes. Look, again, we could all agree to disagree.
Exactly.
And then as we wrap up, I just want to, you know, as people watch like Love Match Atlanta, like what do you want them to take away, you know, from this first season, like from each of you, like your businesses, love, matchmaking, just all of it. Like, what do you want people to get out of kind of like each of you? Could be personal, it could be business, whatever.
I'll go first. Okay. For me, I just feel like, you know, this coming to the experience was very, very different. I've never experienced it before. So letting people into your personal life was really challenging for me. But, you know, I'm trying to be a matchmaker who lives what she says. And you'll see I go through some challenges, but I'm really pushing for success in my, you know, I can't tell you the show, but I'm pushing for success. And that's what I do in my relationships, because it's so easy for us to get in situations. I quit. Let's go to the next one. Let's go next, let's go. And then you just have a list of relationships and you just end up nothing, you know? So I try to live what I preach. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But just being, hopefully I can help some people, you know, going through some of the same things I've gone through in the show. And like I said before, it's like, I love the different personalities. Somebody is going to look at that show and they're actually going to relate to someone that's on there. So I love that.
I like that.
For me personally, I am so proud to demonstrate a single mom, because sometimes when people say single mom, they think somebody in poverty living in a shoebox. And you know, I'm really proud to represent myself as a single mom who's an entrepreneur, who's running successful businesses and helping people find love. I'm really happy to show what that looks like, to show America a different view. And I'm really proud of that. As far as love, I love that my brand is really helping everyday people find love. And contrary to what Ming may think, just because I serve a demographic doesn't mean that I'm a part of that demographic, but she doesn't know. Moving right along. I'm really happy to showcase that.
Did you see that? Did you see how she threw that at me? And I was minding my business over here.
And you
Shae,
gave such a nice answer.
I know, Shae, you know what? Honestly, Shae, I respect what you're doing. Somebody has to do it.
Absolutely. You know what? I respect what you're doing. Like I say on the show, if it's making you money, amen. I'm happy for you.
I'm not.
All right. What was the question, David?
Just as, you know, people watch this amazing first season, like, what do you want them to take away, like, from you as a person, your business, RBL?
Just take away that all of us, this is not an overnight success thing for us, right? Understand that we've been busting our butts and we really, really love love. All of us, we really, really love love, and we are actually here to help people find love and give them, a peace of mind that they're still out there for them as well, right? Of course, they're gonna get away, they could take away the drama, the ups and downs, but understand that we're all now friends. we have our little quirkiness about each other. We throw jabs and stuff like that. But we are friends, and we are on this journey together. This was scary for all of us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
This is something I never woke up a day in my life thought I would be on TV. Like, no, absolutely. Especially a reality TV show. Yeah, and being put under a pressure cooker. Like, what'd you say, Ming?
I said I did.
And I've been wanting to be on TV my whole life. My major was radio, TV, and film. I was an actor, a little kid in different plays and stuff in schools. Like, I've always wanted to be on TV. So this is a dream come true.
Right.
But to
Joseph's point, I'll speak for myself. I never thought I would be on TV a day in my life. I never thought my life would be under a microscope. I know I'm a character. I know I'm different. I know I have a big personality. So, all that's going to shine. So I'm accepting it as it goes. It's going to be a fun ride. Put it that way.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a fun ride. Listen, here's my last words of advice. Next year, after this first season is such a hit and you guys all come back, A, don't change. That's A. And B, and this is the last thing, is, we have people. We have Erica Jane. Did she know about her husband, Tom Girardi? I don't know. We have Jen Shaw. Now the feds are involved. Yes. It's not always that severe. Sometimes there's just a little, maybe there was an affair or there's something. Sometimes it's not even that bad. So here's the thing. Joseph, Shae, and Ming, is there anything here today on Behind the Velvet Rope? It doesn't have to be illegal. Anything in your past that you want to share with me?